What's up, guys? Subzero here, back for another VOD review. As you can see from my cam, I look a little bit different. We got exclusive Luna Cam technology here, so you guys can watch her chill while we do the VOD review. And why do we have a Luna Cam? Because she's a black cat, and today we're going to be watching BlackSheep, the LAS player who went second overall in the regional finals. Just had an absolutely beautiful tourney run, only one bot for to start off his entire tournament, and then from there on out, I think I'm not on 2x speed, yep. And then from there on out, he literally did not bot for another single game, which is crazy, honestly. So shout out to BlackSheep for the really good performance. And also, this game, he had a very interesting line selection. He played into a line where I really just have not seen many people play. This is a line that's quite unpopular, and so I wanted to VOD review it as well, just to get a sense for the line. Once again, it's just this more kind of like off-meta stuff. As the meta becomes more and more known, becomes more and more people, understand how balanced stuff is, it's cooler and cooler to see the weird stuff, the stuff that still is not being played that much. So we're in the dupes portal, so we get the mini dupe now, and then we're going to get the 3-cost dupe later in the game. That does make us want to lean towards some kind of reroll, and we do pick up a misfortune here. I think a lot of people would see this opener and say, it's a misfortune game. Okay, great. We have the MF already, we have, the glove here, but then items-wise, it doesn't really make sense to be an MF game, right? I mean, I guess this could be like half of Gwinsu, half of IE, but it's quite hard to fully get to misfortune items here. I will say Priz Ticket is a great option if you do want to play reroll, but would be forced into playing some kind of AP reroll, very likely. And AP reroll, for the most part, has been kind of limited to Lulu in this tournament. Veigar is, an option, but that's not really a reroll comp. It's more of just kind of like a guy that ends up becoming 3-star on your board that you don't actually have to roll for. But as far as reroll goes, it's basically just Lulu, and Lulu actually performed pretty badly. The day that I casted, or one of the days that I casted, day 2, I think every single game we watched Lulu on main broadcast at bot forward, which I don't think that even is, because Lulu is like a garbage comp or anything like that. I think partially it's just because, a little bit unfortunate set of games. But also, I do think it definitely was indicative that this line is, falling a little bit out of favor, just not, feeling super, super good to play towards as one of these premier AP options. And we also even see this other player here. It is Medallion Lulu, and that player did have a Medallion setup either for TF or for Lulu. Either way, kind of chill. You also see BlackSheep. We pivot our board here into this more just straight up Meeple board because we have the Veigar 2, and no one can pass up the possibility of having a Veigar 2, right? Veigar 2, eventually maybe being able to print a Veigar 3 is just too tempting to pass up. You can also see BlackSheep here. I like this a lot. He's really considering the possibility that this is a TF reroll game, and even though he knows that there's that other player in this lobby, I mean, we're in an amazing spot to contest anybody. With Prismatic Ticket, you don't really have to worry about contest because you're always going to hit before the other player unless they also have Prismatic Ticket or some kind of other, ungodly econ augment. So you can basically always be the contester and not feel too bad about it, especially also with 1-cost reroll, where even if you are contested, it's not like it's the end of the world there. This is a pretty tough choice. Craftsmanship and the 6 gold are both really, really valuable here. He is just going to opt for the craftsmanship just for the a little bit more sculpting of items, and also just, gold across the course of the game. Obviously, if anyone did get like trait tree here, they're going to be very, very happy about being able to pick up a craftsmanship with that. I don't know if there was anyone in this lobby who did get that, but as we look around, we will see. By the way, as all the lobbies were in regionals, this was a stacked lobby. Solus, Dank, Memes, Precedent, Greya, I mean, CMB, literally everybody. JRC, Cool Guy Dom. I mean, I'm just saying all the names of the lobby now. But these are all fantastic players, all players who, obviously made it this far, and for good reason. They're pretty good at TFT, I would say. So, some might even say very good for Solus, I don't know about this guy. He's very good at TFT, but sometimes I don't know about his work ethic. But I mean, in some ways, that's even more impressive, right? That this guy can, I feel like, just like randomly play the game, not lock in that hard, and still do well. I do also see a trait tree as we scout around there, which is, annoying for us. And we also see CMB here is committed to this Lulu line. I will say this may have been one of the games we saw that the Lulu board did end up bot foring, but hey, who's to say? But yeah, I mean, I think in a normal situation, if you weren't thinking about this line, that Black Sheep ends up playing towards this game, you might be like, what are we actually supposed to play here? We have the Lulu here. I mean, we could contest CMB and Lulu reroll, but it doesn't sound like a great plan. Sounds like a really good plan for us to both bot 4. We do see, yeah, he does actually planner this out and says, you know what, I'm the contester. I can actually contest, like we talked about earlier with Prismatic Ticket. It doesn't actually feel bad, but we're going to reroll here. We have all the reasons to reroll because we have the extra 2 gold that we get from it. So that's nice, and it leads us into, you know, pretty good components here. But you can see in our shop here, a little bit of an idea towards what we might end up actually playing towards this game. I don't actually know if Black Sheep does hold these units or not. Judging by the way he's playing this, it almost looks like he's not going to hold on to them, but I do think it is pretty nice to keep your options open to be able to hold on to this stuff, and we'll see what he does go for here. Yeah, I don't think he even holds these options, which is crazy as well, just for the fact that he does. Well, you'll see. You'll see. Ooh, restart mission is so tempting in spots like this, especially because he sold everything else. So I do think this is the pickup here. And this, I think, is what really gives him the direction into this line, is that we pick up a Viktor 2 from restart mission. We even have the Pike to go along with it, which is pretty nice here. Have an Urgot 2 as our front line here, which is quite hilarious. But, I mean, it'll get the job done. And from this spot, he says, well, what if I did actually just play around this Viktor unit? I mean, what if this was actually a Viktor reroll game, which has really fallen out of favor? You know, I mean, I'm sure for anybody who played the beginning of the set, you guys remember, you know, how insane this line was at the start of the set. And since then, it's really fallen off a cliff. You'll see what he team planners out here, which is this very old school Viktor Nami style board. But it makes sense with Priz Ticket. You can obviously get to all your 3-star units. It doesn't feel bad at all. We have a pretty good psionic item that we can use with this. It's not the drone, but the drone I don't think is like as necessary these days as it once was. It's not like, oh my god, if I don't have the drone, the game is over. And weirdly enough, if you were to actually filter the stats correctly, you would see that Sympathetic actually was never actually a bad item in the line. It was just a bad item on Viktor, and the stats were being brought down by people not just slamming it onto the unit that it should go on, which is Nami in this line. You know, take Divine Refund once again, because we're like, the idea is we basically have infinite gold in this spot here. We have Priz Ticket and restart mission, so we're never going to have a gold issue this game. All we need to do is take as many items as possible so we can itemize all of these units. So this is just good, solid TFT fundamentals. We know that we're going to have no issue with our econ this game, so we need to focus on the thing that we might have an issue with, the thing that we need in the spot, which is, you know, having more econ. Gonna roll a bit, try to find just a few upgrades onto this board. Gets to a decent version of this board. Does end up cutting Arbiter, actually, so the LeBlanc is in here just as a good shepherd on the board, and we are going to take potentially, yeah, another loss here. Doesn't feel horrible to lose these fights, but you would, you know, obviously prefer to preserve as much HP as possible going into stage 4, because you can see here we are pre-leveled up. The idea is we've come this far. We're going to sack one more fight. Hopefully we can kill some units, but if we don't, we will survive. We'll survive at like 40 HP, which is not the most, but it's enough to be alive. And then we're going to send it on 4-1 and hopefully hit a lot of our units. Now, the upside to this line being played is here. Like, you can look at a board like this. Dank Memes here playing more like tempo Space Groove, but the point stands, right, that people are rolling for Space Groove units. They're holding Ornns. They're playing Ornn in Misfortune. They're playing Ornn in Space Groove. They're playing Ornn just regularly in normal tempo Space Groove without actually even having to roll for it. So a lot of these units are quite, a lot of these 3 costs are quite contested, especially in lobbies like this. What you can do if you are, you know, somebody like Black Sheep in a spot like this is you can just go for the uncontested 3 costs, especially with Priz Ticket, and just absolutely send it for them. And that is what we are going to do here. Look at this double Viktor shop appears here. We find the Schmeepsy here, so that gets to go onto the board here, and we're just playing the whole board minus the Rost here. Is going to start reforging these to look for good tank items to slam here. Really, I imagine was looking for some kind of, you know, other frontline item that wasn't using all of these gargoyles here. But I mean, honestly, I don't think you're too unhappy with this. I was just thinking that we would make some kind of HP item here, but actually now we're going to just hold the line, make the Archangels here for the Nami, and keep this belt open to live another day for another slam here. Last item here. I don't mind just. Ooh, he's gonna take actually even more items. Oh, but this is the other crazy thing is we see bronze for life too, which is the perfect augment for this line here. Makes so much sense here. It is so many. I mean, we're 8 traits in at this point. We're not really gonna go higher than that. But 8 traits bronze for life is pretty darn good. This augment has been nerfed throughout the set. I feel like it always kind of releases kind of broken, and then people realize this stuff here. Let's do a bronze for life check actually for the numbers. Look at those beautiful numbers. 16 damage jump across our entire board, 32 armor and MR across our entire board. I feel like is the real slobber knocker there. Does anyone really know what that word means? I feel like I used to hear League casters say it all the time, and still I cannot conjure the idea. The only thing that's a tad bit awkward about the setup is we get a bunch more armor and MR onto our triple gargoyles Alawi. Now her ability will kind of cover some of the work that you would normally expect from HP items, but it's still a tad bit awkward, right? You can see also we get really preoccupied with this idea of rolling for Pike 3 in this spot here. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that we even dipped that deep for it, but we do, and I mean, we get rewarded for it. We find the Pike 3, and much more importantly, we find the Viktor 3 on this board here, rotate into the Lulu board, and absolutely clear it here. Just a beautiful fight win for BlackSheep that puts us into a great spot, and now we will finally take econ. We've made it this far, taken all of these items, but now this is actually a spot where we need some more gold because we would love to find that Alawi 3 and would love to, start pushing levels from here. Obviously, the Rost is that big last in on this board that we do not have right now. Hopefully we can get him in later, but you do always run into this kind of like weird idea in this setup where like you want to, level up and play Rost, but you also obviously want to roll on 7 so that you can hit your entire board here. He is not going to go for any kind of slam. Imagine his idea is to go for Guardbreaker last item onto this this dude. It can get procced pretty nicely by the just kind of multiple ticks of damage, and also it's just another damage item. You don't need mana gen on units like this in general, just because of the fact that they're conduits. They innately have a bunch of extra mana gen for free, so you can feel fine about that. The only downside to how this spot is looking is that, yeah, Alawi, we are really in Alawi jail. And let me skip through this pause real quick. All right, we are back. I don't know what that pause was for. Maybe somebody needed to go splash some water on their face or something. But we are back into the game against Cool Guy Dom, who ended up getting this. Oh, this was a crazy game from Cool Guy Dom. The flexible anima cash out into Annihilator onto the Mighty Mech, or onto the Aurelian Soul. The Mighty Mech is the frontliner. Honestly, that one almost looked good. The upside to this is you have Void Staff. Honestly, he might have to take this here, yeah, just for the MR shred component of it here, which makes sense. We are rolling down here with the idea that, of course, we are one off Alawi with the dupe, so we get it, and we'll make it, and we'll feel pretty good. And yep, the Void Staff Nashers is going to have to come down here. Like I said, you're not that excited to build mana gen onto this Viktor. Definitely, I don't think it was what we were ideally going for. And yeah, actually, BlackSheep, a bit of a blunder here. Made the mistake of not waiting for that Reforger to come down. Actually, almost, could have missed out on a potential slam, right? If that had reforged into a glove, we would have actually missed out on Guardbreaker. But, it's a small thing that doesn't actually end up mattering. But hey, that's what we're here for, is just to point out random stuff that actually could matter, but doesn't in the grand scheme of things. At this point, though, speaking of things that don't matter, our econ actually does matter a lot in this spot because we do still want to push 8 for that Rost. It's a really nice upgrade onto this board. So we are just going to chill here for now, try to get to push levels. We are also finally going to move the Viktor to the middle of the board because now that we have the Alawi 3, we're pretty confident that she can sit here, tank for a long time, and we're not worried about Viktor getting like randomly blown up by something, randomly wrapped on by something. And you can see, look at this board's performance. We clear Solus's board, which is a pretty decent Darkstar setup, and you can start to see the potential of this idea. I mean, it's pretty old school. It's Viktor Nami. We've seen this comp before. It's not like it's like some new comp that exists, but the idea of playing for Viktor Nami in this late into the set is pretty wild. But I mean, you can see the Viktor does a ton of work here, even without this the psionic item. No drone, no problem. Pretty happy just throwing the sympathetic onto the Nami for mana gen, and look at the Viktor just clearing through all of these boards, kind of Grim Reaper style, going through everybody here. Is just gonna look for completed item anvil to maybe look for something better than the Nash here. And yep, that's the idea, is that he can move the Nash over to Pike, I guess, or yeah. I could see this Nash Nami and then move this up to to the Pike. Yeah, I think this makes decent sense. The other nice thing is with the solo frontline onto the Alawi, there's pretty decent chance that Pike can kind of like walk up and wrap around a little bit. Speaking of wrap, though, this is really rough positioning for Black Sheep here, and so we're going to take a pretty unfortunate loss here. Down to 4 HP. Yeah, it's actually kind of heartbreaking that we have to take that loss there, but not the end of the world. We can use some of our free rolls, pick up the Rost, and level for it. So now we have 8 trait Rost in, even further just giving us stats that matter, that feel really good with this this bronze for life here. So this is the setup. Rotate and Precedent. This is a do or die spot for Black Sheep here. Obviously on this amount of HP needs to win the fight, but the Viktor Storm does insane work, takes down Precedent, Gray drops as well, and top 4. Also, I love his expression there. He was just like really like, oh my god, like I was actually gonna buff for this game. Like he seemed pretty worried, I would say, but all good. We get our top 4 locked in here, and hopefully we can do even better than that as the next few fights go. Basically kind of capped here on level 7, so I do think we are just going to, or on level 8, so I think we're just gonna have to roll down here, try to pick up some upgrades here, look for something for Pike ideally, which is QSS, I guess. Ugh, it's kind of gross, but I mean, it's an item for him, I guess. He's just gonna take the LW here, get the armor shred, not feel too bad about it. It'll actually help versus some of these boards with some tanky front lines. Rotating to JRC board, this is the board that we were losing to before, but look at this, once again, the Viktor just deletes. Cool Guy Dom wins a fight, and I mean, all of a sudden the world's our oyster here. We're about to fight Dank Memes here, and if we can win this fight, that's actually very likely a top 2 locked in. So we're just going to send it here, try to find any upgrade, though I'm not even really sure what any upgrade would be at this point here, and we're going to make some really interesting quick swaps. The idea is just trying to make sure that our Alawi does not get Blitzcrank ulted, and also make sure that we don't get wrapped on here. Actually really nice positioning from Black Sheep, and it's going to allow this second Viktor cast to win the fight. He is so emotional here, and he locks in the top 2. Obviously, Cool Guy's Dom's board is just kind of insane, so do not think there's any way that we can win out this lobby, but a top 2 with Viktor, I think anybody would be happy with that. Great positioning in that last fight, man. I feel like that was actually really nice. He does swap the Pike over here, saying, maybe there's a world where we can like skewer backline, steal a kill on something, but I mean, the Annihilator's going to come through it now, delete the entire board, and I mean, there's nothing. So a beautifully played game, top 2. He's actually so happy, which is so cool to see from such a really interesting and well-played alliance selection. So shout out to Black Sheep for making it, for making it to tier 1 from tier 2, and also shout out to Luna Cat. You want to say goodbye to all the nice people? I think she's trying to sleep. I know, but Luna, you know what? You are gonna wake me up at 7 a.m. in the morning and scream in my face for food. But I won't bother you too much. All right, thank you guys for watching. As always, I will see you guys in the next one. This is a great angle.